So I just moved into this new town, and this girl that I started seeing said she wanted to take me to this circus that they have, this special circus they have every Saturday night. And she said it was like a special circus that only exists in this particular town. And I thought it was, maybe the clowns wore blue hair instead of red hair or something. And she said, no, this is really, really different. I promise you'll never find anything like this anywhere else. And so I said, I'll figure I'll go check it out. We just started dating, so I didn't want to be too pushy too soon. So I just went along with it. We get into this kind of tent. It was obviously some kind of tent they put up just for the circus. It wasn't at some kind of arena that was there that was used for a lot of different events. It was a tent built specifically for the circus. And everything inside the tent was kind of temporary. They had these big bleachers that they set up and tear down really quickly, and they have all this other stuff. But the only real act that they had at this circus was this high wire act. And at first I thought this has got to be some kind of a joke, because they had this huge cable about 20 yards long that we all had to look up at because it was really, really, really high up in the air. But underneath the cable, they didn't have a net like they regularly do, or they didn't have just a bottom, just a flat bottom for the guy to wear, like a barely able to be seen type of harness and safety rope. But they didn't have anything like that. They had these small wires running across underneath the main cable that he was going to walk across. And there was maybe 20 or 30 of these wires, and I asked her, I said, what are those wires for? And she said, oh, you'll see. And she kind of smiled. And this guy gets up on the cable, and he's not dressed up like a circus performer, and he doesn't have one of those poles. And so he starts walking across the cable, and everyone's cheering and cheering and cheering, and he slips about maybe 20% out, and he's like hanging on. And I'm thinking, fuck, how come they don't go rescue him? How come there's not people running out with nets to unfold and catch him when he falls? And she's like, no, that's part of the act. Like, what is he, like pretending to fall? And he's trying to climb back up on this thing, but then he falls onto these wires that are underneath, and they take out pieces of his flesh as he falls. And I guess the way they calibrated these small wires underneath is they stretch them out at a certain strength, and they have them sharpened a certain amount, so when you fall on top of them, they don't break your bones, and they don't cut all the way through to the bone. They just slow you down enough so when you land on them, obviously off center, and you kind of twist as you hit them, they like dig into your skin and cut out a chunk of flesh. And so this guy bounced on 3 or 4 of these wires on the way down and kind of thudded onto the ground below, and the crowd let out a collective, because I guess they wanted to see this guy make it across and not fall to a horrible death. And he lay on the ground for a while until he finally died. I don't know if he died from shock from the impact or if he bled to death. And then another guy came out, and I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here, because this is like horror land. And she says, no, it's okay. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And she explained that when we go to the circus, she had bought the tickets before, so I didn't know how much it cost, but each ticket to this event is $100. And they only have an event if people from the city volunteer to walk across this high wire. And the thing is, if they make it across, they get all of the money that has been paid in for tickets up to that point. And if people crash and die, and there's like 3 or 4 people in one night that they all die, the amount in the pot rolls over to the next week. So it keeps growing and growing, and the bigger the pot gets, the more people volunteer to try and walk across this tightrope, and if they make it, they get all the money. And I guess that particular night, the pot was like $600,000, and so I guess it had been a while since someone made it across, because as soon as someone makes it across, they reset the pot, and it just keeps going. And I thought, this has got to be illegal or something, but I guess they're okay with it, because it's, I guess, a good way to make money. In that particular city, they don't have any sales taxes, and the mayor keeps getting reelected, so I guess that's one way for the city to make money, is has people volunteer to potentially die a horribly painful and slow death in front of their friends and neighbors that are cheering them on. But I didn't really feel like dating that girl very much after that, and as soon as I got home that night, I sent out about 100 resumes, and I took the first fucking offer I could take that was far away from goddamn murder town.